Welcome back, everybody, to a special video on the channel. I don't do episodes. This is going off to a great start. This is great, but we're throwing it in. We're doing it. And as you know, if you've been subscribed, which thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching all the things that I got putting out. I've been talking a lot about Lucid. I've been retweeting a bunch about Lucid, and I reached out to the developer, the Black Matt Studio, aka Eric, and I was like, hey, why don't I just have you on and we just have a chat, have a little dev interview, because it's an idea that I've had in my brain, but who will want to come and talk to a YouTube channel that has only like 65 subscribers? Apparently this guy does. So yeah. So I got with me today, Eric, aka the Black Mac Studio, the Matt Black Studio, sole developer of Lucid, which is a game that you definitely need to check out. It's going to be one of the hottest Celesteroidvanias that is going to hit the market at some point. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about his story and just the game in general and the Kickstarter, which if you haven't seen the Kickstarter yet, what are you doing? Go right now. Stop this video. Go to the Kickstarter. Actually, you can keep the video running and then go to the Kickstarter, save it, and then come back to this video or listen, whatever you want to do. But anyway, Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for joining me. I really, truly appreciate you coming out. And people know what you look like if you've seen any of the interviews you've done, but I know your camera is busted right now.
It's
so
busted.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, we won't get your pretty face up here. So
I can give you B-roll and Owen's pretty face and all that.
Okay.
People don't want to see my ugly mug. They've got your beautiful composure over there. They can just stare at you the whole time.
Okay, that's fine. They can do that. That's great. That's great. But you're a good looking man. I've seen you live. You know,
I'm beat red.
Yeah. Beat red. But yeah. So yeah, let's just start there, man. So I've been like we said before I started recording, I've been kind of stalking you online, kind of researching all of what Lucid is and all of who you are. And you said you were an architect before. You were an architect. And so one day you're like, video games, let me do that. Instead of designing the next Empire State Building or Taj Mahal or Statue of Liberty, let's just do video games instead. Tell me about that. What happened? What was the moment that you decided to do it?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. It's good. Well, so I'm gonna pick up on some. I've been like a video game aficionado since I was like in kindergarten. Like, I had my SNES. SNES was my first console, and came with A Link to the Past, and I learned that game like the back of my hand. And I don't know. Ever since then, I've been a Nintendo fanboy. I had every Nintendo console.
Great.
So like I've been a gamer my whole life, and who would have thought that it would come in handy? But I my dad, I love him to pieces. He wanted the best for me, and this memory. This sounds like I'm going on a tangent, but it all comes.
No, it's good. It all connects. It all connects. It's good. It's good.
So we're sitting there, and we had just come back from I forget. I picked up a game, but like I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in the day, we didn't have cell phones, so you had to use.
Right. Yeah, right? I'm old enough to know.
So we're on the highway, right? And I'm looking through. I just get this game. We're on the highway, and it's at night, and I'm using like the lights on the highway through the window to like look at the manual. Remember manuals?
Yes.
So I'm looking at manuals.
I do remember manuals. Yes.
The highway lights to read it, and I start sketching it. And my parents are like, "What you doing back there?" And I said, I am sketching video game characters. I want to be a game designer when I grow up. And like, bless his heart, he said, "You don't want to do that, Eric. If you want a family, you're gonna want to make some money." And that comment stuck in my brain for the entirety of my life.
Oh man, it
ripple effective.
Yeah.
So that's how I got it. I've always been kind of like math and sciencey, but also artistic. So I was like, "What's the marriage? Architecture." And that's why I pursued architecture. I went to architecture school. I loved the process. I loved the learning, the design, the tenants, like everything about it was so much fun, and I really enjoyed it. But then I had to enter the workforce.
Oh no, the workforce! You got to make money and pay bills. Gosh.
Yeah, and dealing with the clientele. I worked for high-end residential firms and
Okay.
high-end residential firms in New York City, and I don't. I'm gonna maybe no surprise to anybody, but they can be a special ilk of people that you have to deal with. And
Yeah, that sounds about right.
it was water and oil, man. Oil and water, water and oil. I just
Jeez.
didn't gel. It never quite gelled. So cue crippling depression.
Oh, okay.
Laying on the floor, just staring and just being sad. And my lovely, beautiful, supportive fiance was like, she's like, you're so sad, like whatever happened to Lucid, because I was
Hmm.
making Lucid as like this little bedroom project that I loved and it was made me happy, and she's like, whatever happened to that? I'm like, I don't know, I put it down, I was trying to focus on work, yada yada yada. And she's
Yeah.
like, you should pick it back up, it made you happy. I'm like, okay, are you sure? Because I put a lot of time into it and it put a lot of stress on my life. And she's like, I'm like, are you okay with me, like I get sucked into things, and are you okay with it? She's like, go for it, it makes you happy.
Hmm.
So I
Okay.
do, sir. I do that. I do just that. I build Lucid right back up from the ground up from Game Maker and Unity.
Love it.
And a few years go, I think a year about goes by, and I'm just posting. I starts picking up some Steam. Pixlr picks up some Steam. I get some notice from some publishers and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, she says, I think you should just like, you're never gonna get this opportunity again. You need to
Hmm.
take it. Go for it. So all thanks to Una, my fiance. She's the reason I dove into this. That's how I went from architecture to game dev. And that's the long and short of it, man.
Man, that's incredible. Isn't it great that your partner can be such an encouragement to you? I know my wife has definitely encouraged me in this. Not in actually this, because she's not a gamer. She stays far away from gaming. But
Like yes,
the logo that you've seen on the banner on my YouTube channel and even on
yes,
my Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna call it Twitter.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But that she made that because she's an
Get out of
artist.
here!
Yeah, so she's kind of similar where she's a nurse,
Get out of
and
here!
her parents were like, we won't pay for college if you do art. So
Oh,
like, I'll be a nurse, but she does do art in her spare time, and I'm a musician too, so we have similar artist background. But I went to school for music, and I'm paying the price because
oh no.
music. I went to do private schools, and then decided to get a music degree, and
Uh huh.
not
Uh
a
huh.
whole lot of work comes from that. So it is what it is, man. I work in IT now, so it is. It's,
Dude,
but I still do music. I mean, I still
that's
play,
awesome.
and I still
What do you
them.
play? Because your story reflects a lot of both Una and I. She also was thinking about going to nursing. We're both
Yeah,
musicians. What did you play?
I play bass. That's my main
Ah.
instrument. That's what I went to school for, and then I play a little bit of piano, guitar. I sing. Like I was telling you earlier, I sing at my church. So
Mhm, mhm.
that's what I do. But it's not what I do for a living, and I get paid to do IT, which is a lot more stable than being a
Oh.
musician. But the music I do, which I've never actually said this on my channel, but all the music that you ever hear in my videos, the music I made that. I
Oh.
made that music, so that's the music I created. So you go to pretty much most of the videos that aren't LP type, like any review or just commentary type of video, the music that was me. So,
That
which
is
helps me
rad.
get around copyright because create your own stuff. So
Yes, yes.
yeah,
I know that Una does a bunch of tracks for Lucid, and
yes,
that's how I get around a lot of it too. I'm like, shit, I need some background music,
yeah.
and I'll be like, Boo, can you
Give
make
me
a
a
little jam?
track,
Yeah, yeah.
babe.
Fat babes, I mean, fat
I
beats,
know, right?
please.
Fat beats, and yeah, and the music in it is great. Yeah, great story, man. I love that, and I know it's your parents can always be encouraging and also crippling at the same
Yes, I
time.
know. I know. In his heart of hearts, that he was just trying to
Yeah, he was
look
trying.
out for me. But
Yeah.
like, I can still remember the back of that car like it was yesterday. It
Oh
was
man,
crushing, dude.
I know that's rough. I know. What does your dad think about it now? Now that it's
I
become
mean,
more of a reality.
very I supportive as he can be.
Yeah.
The way they show it is very like, oh, how's this? How's it going? Oh, is it working out? Oh, that's great.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's probably a
It's,
generational thing. It is
yeah,
what it is.
it's fine. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. Whatever,
Yeah.
man.
How's your little jump man's going?
Yeah, yeah. How's your little bleep loops? The amount
Yeah.
of times I've heard like the the phrase like, "I don't know how this works, but how's this going?" I'm like, "It's going great. Thank you, mom. Love you too."
But that's great. It shows that they care.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So that's good. Good to have supporting parents and a partner.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into Lucid. Let's talk about it. You
Let's
already
do it.
said you were making it in Game Maker, and then you switch over to Unity. Unity,
Mm.
a great thing. I've dabbled a little bit. I tried to I looked up a tutorial, like a 40-minute tutorial in Unity, and it was like,
Yeah,
oh, there's way more involved in this.
yeah.
How did so building Lucid, which is you're calling it the world's first Celesteoidvania,
Yes, sir.
which most people in gaming know what a Metroidvania is. You know, you got
Mm-hmm.
your mix of Metroid, Castlevania, and everything in between. It's kind of a nebulous term, honestly, because everything can be a Metroidvania. I've heard
Yeah,
Dark Souls being called a
exactly.
Metroidvania. I'm like,
Yep.
I mean, maybe because the maps and the just the nature of it, but it's not really a Metroidvania though.
Yeah,
Like
my
I wouldn't
if
call it that. I call
I
it a fantasy RPG. No, it's
exact
RPG.
yeah,
Yeah, kind
I
of.
would call it an action RPG. I would
Yeah,
if
an
I were to
ARPG basically.
yeah, if I were to argue, I would argue my argument would be that it is not a Metroidvania only because there are no like hard like ability gates.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
you could say like it's skill gated.
It's definitely skill gated, but you can kind of like how Breath of the Wild is or was, and even
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom, where you can do anything you want and you
Mm-hmm.
can use anything you want to complete your objective, especially in Tears of the Kingdom, because that is nuts.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've yet to play that. That's a whole other. I'm
Me
using it.
neither.
Yeah.
I have yet to play. I just haven't had time. Also, it was a little bit out of my budget at the time it came out, but
Mm,
I
no,
will get to it eventually.
same.
I don't have the margin for it. It's too long.
See. I know myself. If I sink my a single tooth into that, I'm gonna be mouthful of. I won't get Lucid done for another year.
Yeah,
Um,
we need Lucid. Don't get don't get Breath of the Wild
I won't.
or Tears of the Kingdom.
I
Don't
won't.
do it because we
Uh,
won't get Lucid.
For you, man. I'll abstain.
Thanks. Yeah, so yeah, it's a really cool game, and if anybody's seen it through all of your various posts on Twitter and online, it's really fun. It looks really cool. I love the aesthetic that you're going for. It's kind of how would you describe the art style of it?
That's so I guess I've been when I'm asked to like make copy like notes for this, I say it's like not high definition pixel art, but it's like old school pixel art with some modern day embellishments. So like
Yeah.
they interact with lighting. So there's normal maps that like kind of give them a little bit of depth and shape. There's some particle effects. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like kind of like well a big thematically it's very like old meets new, nostalgia meets future. So it's both in game that's a theme, and then in the art it's a theme like merging old and new. So I'm just kind of running with that, and like even in the color choices like red and the fuchsia and
Mm-hmm.
cyan. I know it's not one to one, but like it's a lot of when you play, it's very opposites and balance and two sides of the same coin and merging and like that's like a theme that I play with a lot in Lucid.
So
So
the colors tell the story, kind of.
yeah, there's I try a tenet I learned in architecture school was like every single decision and move you make has to have a reason. So you can't
Mm,
just be like I put the wall here because it's like every the teacher your professor asks why is it there, and it's
yeah,
something that every single decision has a why is it there, and it's very holistically designed. And I took the same approach when it comes to Lucid and incorporating like the storytelling, the gameplay, the art, the music. Like every single decision is weaved together and it has some justification or alluding to something else that is like a core thematic of the game or the
that's
story I'm trying to
great.
tell.
Yeah, yeah. That no wasted space, no
Yeah,
bloat. I love
yeah,
that, and yeah, that's good that you have that architecture brain already because that definitely helps inform the game how you design the game. So
absolutely.
when you were going from being an architect to designing Lucid, like actually in Game Maker and then in Unity, how hard was that transition? I I
Oh,
understand that you
that's
probably have a good art background, so you like design wise, you probably do really well with that.
yeah.
But
The
the
art.
coding and all of that,
Mm-hmm. I would absolutely. It's easy for me to say the art comes easier to me.
Right. Oh yeah.
I'm. It's much more. Like I think it, and I can usually, with little resistance, kind of just make it, and it's like that's what I saw in my head, and there it is. Hooray!
Yeah.
When it comes to the coding, I'm self-trained. To answer your question, I while in architecture, I was perusing game maker forums, Unity
Mm-hmm.
forums. I bought books on coding. I've watched video, Udemy courses. I just absorbed like as much as I could constantly. At lunch, I
Yeah.
would go and just listen on my phone and watch videos and see like how do they make these things, and I'd run home and then go make them, and it was just like uh, trial by fire, like just a totally drowning in coding for quite a few years,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I bet.
eventually, I remember there was a point similar to like the art where like you see it in your head and you can make it. I remember
Right.
I was coding one night and I had this idea, and then without even thinking about like having to Google how do I do X Y Z, I just kind of did it. And at the end, I was like done, and like 5 minutes went by, and I'm like, wait a minute. I, I did the thing. I didn't have to like go check
Yeah.
like the code. I was like, oh my god, I'm a
Oh
genius.
man, that's always a good moment where it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of clicks.
Yes, I make the joke frequently where it's like game making is very like you can be like for one split second you're like I'm the best there ever was. There's no one ever gonna be better than me. And then seconds later like I'm dog crap. I'm the worst at this ever. It's constantly happening.
Yeah, I'm the best. I'm trash.
I am trash.
Yeah, that is the life of an artist.
Yes.
Yeah, man, that's great. I love that in the pursuit of knowledge and the pursuit of doing something that
Yes.
you love, and it also helps that you have a love of this game and you have a love of the games you've grown up with,
Hmm.
and so I'm sure that helped push you forward into continuing to drown yourself in so much code and so much information, because that's the easiest part. Like that, I mean, it makes it easier. It doesn't make it as tedious. I mean, I'm sure there are some nights you're like, oh my gosh, this is too much.
Yeah.
I gotta slow up.
You hit the nail on the head, man. That's exactly how it feels. Where more like 9 times out of 10, it's just like I'll throw on Ghibli movie, or I'll put on a playlist that's just like all of David Wise's like track. And I can just like go to that space, that creative space, and then just flow state it. But then
Yeah.
every now and then it's just like, why am I slipping through this floor? Why is this physics? Why is it broken? It shouldn't be broken. It's dumb. This game is everything. It's the engine's fault. It's definitely not mine. Oh, is that a one and not a two? Oh god damn it! And then I'll just like
Oh
change it.
yeah. Oh
Oh, there
yeah.
it is.
Into the recycle bin.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. There it is. The
Yeah.
reason is because I'm an idiot. Cool.
Yeah. Well, that was good. Cool. Yeah. Let's talk about the lore.
The lore of Lucid, right? Okay, the
Yeah.
lore of Lucid. So in let me use my work that I've already done here on this Kickstarter. Let's see if this will
Oh,
help.
reading from the page itself.
Yes. Okay. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to give you a bunch of lovely footage, and maybe just maybe this will be playing behind me at the time. But so there, it begins with you'll see Troika in the sun, and it's a serpent that uncoils from the sun, and he's met by this giant crystal um, giant, a lucid giant named Alo, and they no one knows why Troika descended from the heavens and struck him that fateful day, but he did, and the giant paid a dreadful price. He was killed, and his crystal body was shattered across the land of Aden, and this was a long time ago. But the Sentinel Order was. They were disciples of Alo. They worshipped him to an extent, and in this time of imbalance, without all three deities doing their part in their celestial duties, uh, the the world's not right. The
Okay.
celestial fabric, if you will, is in tatters,
Got it.
and it is up to you as Owen to go across the land and collect the 5 lucid crystals and attempt to repiece the lucid giant back together and bring balance back to Aiden.
Love that. Man, one of the things I love about games in general, I love a good story. And just because I guess personally for me, I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. I did for a while, but then just because time and life, I just resided to single player, and I love to be immersed in the story. And you are definitely, I've been hooked since I've seen it, but I am more hooked by the story. And I love the fact that there's so much lore involved in this. I mean, from what I've seen, there's a ton of characters, and you'll be interacting with them. Like you said, we got Owen, we got these gods, we have this character by the name of Hole, which is your adoptive father, the Elder Sentinel, basically your Yoda.
Yeah, he's
or
your
Obi-Wan, I guess.
Obi-Wan to
Yeah,
your
Obi-Wan.
Luke. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a character like I said, I've been going through your Tumblr,
Yes.
and then I saw this characters by the name of Chiru and Goguma. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it's a Cheru and Goguma.
Cheru and
And
Goguma. Okay.
and a fun fact, Goguma is we have a dog. Her name's Zoe, and she's this
Oh.
little white dog. And my fiance's Korean, and her mom calls Zoe Goguma, and it
Oh.
means sweet potato. So
Oh, that's cute. Oh,
yeah,
I
so
love that. So they're in the game,
yes,
basically.
and Cheru is based on Una as well, to an extent. Yeah.
Does that mean you're Owen?
I wouldn't say that. I like to think of myself as this omnipotent force. I'm the ghost in the code.
You're the ghost in the code. That's funny. Oh man. And then we had a couple more characters. There's a character by the name of Sid, who's your tailor.
Yes.
Because we'll get into gameplay in a second, but just going through character, we got Sid. We have the scribe, which in the video when I was talking about the trailer, he looked like a DJ. Is that true? He looked like a DJ. Just by the way the crystals look behind him, he's got like the two towers. It looks like speakers almost.
Yeah, they look like I never saw that, and the moment you said it, I was like, oh my god, he looks like a DJ. But to your credit, man. You'll see when the Kickstarter launches. I took that and I ran with it, and I'll wait.
Ooh.
I'll wait to surprise you. But
Oh snap! Okay.
yeah, maybe
Nice.
I'll send you a little a preview in the our Discord. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, I saw that and I got to this portion and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run with that. But he is not a DJ.
I made Lucid. I did it.
You did it. You like.
No.
Made by Basic, featuring Eric from an old thing called Maplex. But
There you
who
go.
cares?
Got it.
Yeah, I'll send you a little clip. But
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you. That's fantastic.
it's yeah, he's so the scribe is actually I sketched him a long time ago, and a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, he's been helping me out with a lot of like story buffering and
Mhm.
just copy. His name's Aaron, and he's like, kind of looks like me, dude. And I'm like, it does kind of look like you. And then we
Nice.
just kind of like I further pushed it and molded it, and now it's kind of his surrogate character now.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
but yeah,
Okay.
Scribe's a good one.
Yeah, and there's a couple of characters that just came out on your Twitter recently. One, which I'm very interested in, and I think because of what I asked on Discord, I kind of figured it out. Syl,
Yep.
there's that.
Yes.
And
he's sick.
yeah, he's what I said based on the description and based on what he looks like is like this man gives me Virgil vibes. If Owen is the Dante, Syl's the Virgil, and you're like, well, he's kind of the proto man to Owen's Mega Man. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you like immediately. I'm gonna. This sounds like such a. I'm inflating my own ego. But it makes me feel very happy that you were picking up what I was putting down like immediately, because
Yeah.
that's what I was going for, and it just made me very happy that I guess like I don't know the shortcuts just like it's not getting lost in translation. So I was just really like, oh, it's working. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
absolutely.
I see the influences, and I have this dream. I had this dream where Lucid makes all the money, which it
Oh,
will.
please. I hope so.
And if Lucid is the Hollow Knight,
Uh-huh.
Syl is the Silk Song.
Can you get out of my head for just like a second? Could you stop spoiling all my? You're taking all my ideas to
Oh
your
no!
own, man.
Did I? Hopefully, it doesn't take 20 years to come out, but
Yes, that would be ideal.
but that was what I was like. If that's the case, then we could get a Silk Song with this character, and I imagine he's gonna play amazingly.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you'll have a bunch of interactions with Syl across the course of your journey.
you do. I don't want to. I can.
I know.
I will
Don't
talk
you
to
don't.
you. I can talk to you off screen for sure if you want to,
Okay,
but I will keep that a secret. But you
sure.
will encounter him quite often.
Okay, perfect. All right. Let's get off the lore. Let's get off some characters. Let's talk about the meat. Let's talk about the jumping, the shooting, and the fighting, because that's what people are going to do. And you want people to have fun playing the game. You don't just want people to absorb the lore. You want them to play and have fun.
Yes.
Before I get into that, gameplay-wise, I saw the IndieLand 2022 stream where Mr. Gerard, a.k.a. the Completionist, played a build of your game, which... That's amazing. What a crazy...
It was wild.
That's the Completionist was playing your game. That's incredible.
I met him. He is the nicest guy.
He seems really nice.
It was at one of the PAXs. It was just in a back booth, just kind of doing some demonstrations, and a lovely guy named Mike. He was I was unknowingly talking, like they were working together, like they work on the Completionist. He's part of the team. I didn't know this. And all of a sudden he just sits down, and I like seconds go by, and he just sits down. This is Mike, and he looks at me, and he looks back at the game. He's like, "You made this?" I was like, yeah." He's like, "1 second," and like I was in the middle of my pitch, and he just kind of puts his finger up to me, and he like gets on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, Gerard, come here. You gotta come see this." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I look over, and like the PR guy I'm working with goes, "Gerard the Completionist." And I was like, "What?"
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then like one thing led to another, and then they invited me to the IndieLand, and it was
that was a really funny video, especially because he had to eat a bunch of hot sauce.
I don't know if you could hear it. I was very nervous.
But you were, especially when it got into. When he started eating the hot sauce, it was a lot of fun. And then towards the end, when he was trying to do the later runs, especially in the dungeon, that was a fun. That was a good stream. I'm glad I caught that. But man,
so glad, man.
What a cool opportunity and a lot of exposure. That's why I think this game is going to do really well, because you've done a lot marketing wise. You've had a guy like the Completionist who likes playing your game, which is great because he's a big deal in the gaming space.
So. I mean, couldn't tell if he had fun. I couldn't tell if he was having fun or not.
I think the hot sauce got to him. So
it was the hot sauce that it was throwing me off.
Yeah, so gameplay wise, I saw a bunch from that video, and the build that he played. How is that current or is?
Man, that was like.
I know that's last year, but
yeah, it's a year ago. I did a little bit of work in between. A little.
Okay, a little bit. Yeah, I imagine you're like, you probably saw that and you're like, okay, I got to tweak this and this and this. Yep. Like a true artist, you see every single spot and blemish.
Oh
like,
my
this
God,
sucks.
absolutely.
I got to change it.
Absolutely. It was incredibly valuable. Like,
that's great.
Seeing where he was getting stuck and what he didn't understand innately. Like I went back immediately and did some tweaking to adjust. But that was wild, dude. I mean, I've been watching his videos for. I mean, I'm sure as long as you've been watching his videos, and to be there was it was awesome, and it was for a great cause. It was all around.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So gameplay wise, we've got the jumping, which you need a good jump in a platformer. You need a good jump in a Metroidvania. So from what I saw, the jump looks good.
All right.
It looks good. And then you have varying amounts of abilities. I saw something I didn't notice until I watched that video is that he is Mega Man, because you have a buster basically, right?
Yeah.
What do you call that? I don't think I gathered what that was.
In the game, it's I call it's an aura pulse. Like it's
an aura pulse. What a dope name.
Pulsing. Yeah. It's absolutely his Mega Man lemons for sure.
Yeah, Mega Man lemons, love it. Yeah. And then a bunch of stuff that if you've been, if anyone's been following you for a while, a bunch of stuff you drop with the crystal arts. So crystal arts, as in the trailer, it says crystal arts enhance combat and mobility. So we've got multiple different ways to fight and to move around. So we'll talk about, we have the crystal sword, which is basically your standard just swing and slash. And then something also mentioned is that you have a lot of Smash Brothers inputs in your.
I
in your
do.
game. Yeah.
I was always hestant to kind of lead with that because it's not. It's definitely not leaning towards that. Like not everything has an up B, not everything has
Right.
down or side B,
Mhm.
but there are certain crystal arts do have alternative inputs or things to do that harken to it. Like for example, let me think here. If you hold like during the slash combo, if you hold down, it does something else as opposed to holding up, it does something else. So it's influenced by Smash, but not one to one.
Right.
And also, there's no like physic bouncing and stuff. But yeah, so I'm absolutely I love Smash. It's my favorite. If I'm gonna cause some ruckus, it's my
Oh
favorite
no.
fighting. It's my favorite fighting game. If
Oh, we just came
oh,
off of Evo too. So,
I know.
oh no.
Olive Branch is my favorite platform fighter. How about
There it
that?
is.
All right, but
No, man, stand your ground. Smash is a fighter. Don't let
yeah,
anyone tell you different. Smash is
I,
a fighter.
I've been playing it for I love it, but it's absolutely there's no way it couldn't have influenced my game design. I mean even to I guess get ahead of you. I recently put the Aura Dash breakdown
Okay.
in, and
Yeah.
that is it's essentially the in-game dodge roll, but
Hmm.
the inputs are literally almost exactly one to one to like shield rolling in Smash,
Okay.
where you hold the
Yeah, I
button
think I remember seeing that in Gerard's video. Is that it looked like you were kind of dodge rolling?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely some DNA of Smash in there for sure.
Yeah, I dig it. So you have sword and you have a spear and then you have
Spear.
an axe. So
Yep.
they have varying amounts of range and abilities. You're like as I saw in the video, Gerard when he got the spear, he was able to move a little bit more vertically, whereas the sword is more horizontally, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And
I tied. I'm attempting to. I learned around the time it just dawned on me. Well, it was right when Mario Odyssey came out and
okay.
Spider-Man. The PS4 Spider-Man came out around the same time, and it dawned on me that
Hmm.
it's like you need okay, what are you doing 75% of the time? You're
You're
moving
moving.
around, you're
Right.
moving. You
Yeah.
have why would you waste the player's time and not make movement fun? So
Yeah.
if you can make every ounce of your game fun, even just moving, you're a step in the right direction. So I took that to heart, and that's why I put in the trailer every crystal art enhances combat and expands mobility or something like that. And they do just that. Um,
Yeah,
it
you need a good jump because yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I think that's why people play like Mario games are good because they have good jumps. Sonic
yes,
games are good, at least the good one. The good Sonic games are
yeah.
good because they have good jumps. And if Mega Man games are the same way, like if you don't have a
Mhm.
good jump, which is what you're doing to get around, people are not going to play it.
Yep.
They'd be like, I think there's a podcast I listen to. I don't know if you're familiar with Castle Super Beast at all.
I'm not. No, you
Uh,
have to send it to me.
yeah. It's by these streamers, Pat and Wooly. But I think one of them he talked about like he picked up a Sonic game and is like, I checked the jump and it sucked, so I put it down. So I'm like, I don't know which Sonic game he was talking about. I don't remember, but I was like, yeah, it makes sense if that
I
is
can
what
see
you're
that.
doing most of the time. And I
Yeah.
like that. I do like how you pointed out Spider-Man because one of the reasons why Spider-Man PS4 and then Spider-Man 2 coming out
Hmm.
are great is because you can just Spider-Man. You don't have to do anything.
No,
People
it
just
feels
swing
good.
around
Yeah.
as Peter. And I think Miles Morales was really good on the swinging as well.
Yeah. I completely agree. Like it's if it feels good, you're just gonna. It's almost like I'm just thinking of it now, like the old Tony Hawks. Like sometimes
Oh yeah,
it was
I
just
love Tony Hawk too. That was
yeah.
one of
It-
the goats.
Yeah, man, it was just felt cool to like you like skate around and just
Yeah,
like do the tricks, and that's like that vibe, that like flow state, that just like
yeah.
feel good. I took that I believe it was Nintendo and Mario.
Okay.
I'm almost certain now. Their design process for I don't want to say I want to say every 3D Mario doesn't matter. For Mario games, they put them in a white box and like
Oh,
very little platforming, I think, or maybe just a flat plane, but essentially they design completely in a void, and until it just feels good to just move around and not do anything, until Mario just feels good to move around, they don't do any game design at all.
is that what you did?
I kind of did, yeah. A little bit
Wow.
different. I added some like jumps and a little bit, but
Yeah.
eventually white boxed it, and I didn't go forward until it felt. I I've said it on an interview before, but I said this, so forgive me if I'm repeating things that people have heard. But I remember when I found the fun. I was in a white box, and I was doing like zipping and zooping, and I was doing the slashies, and I was connecting like break the targets. And
Right.
that's another thing. If you watch the gameplay, you'll
Break the
see like,
targets.
yeah, you'll be like, that looks like break the targets, and it
Yep.
kind of is. But
Uh,
I realized I was doing a circuit, like I was doing a course I'd made for like an hour and a half, and I was like, this is
wow.
fun. And
Okay.
then all of a sudden I was like, this is fun.
Man.
This is fun. Oh my god, this is the game. And then I ran with it.
There you go.
Yep.
That's a really good design philosophy. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because if it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel good. But
Yeah.
so there you'll be able to upgrade as
Hmm.
people have seen in the trailer. So you'll have various types of upgrading of your crystal arts and
Yes,
your
sir.
pretty much everything. Yeah, I guess you'll be getting that from Sid, right?
So yes. Yes and no.
Well,
So
yes, and
the
I also think. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no worries.
Uh, and I think I saw there's so level design wise, from what I saw there, you have your main level that you're going through, and then you have
Uh-huh.
a dungeon
Yes.
in which you go through a trial to get a new ability. Because I saw him go into that dungeon and then he received the spear right afterward. Right? Okay.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the you're totally on the right track.
Okay.
So the overarching, I guess, gameplay loop, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got the Metroidvania portion of the game is you know, this interconnected overworld, very classic Metroidvania.
hmm
You take your choice of all of them, like all of them have the interconnected world map. And
Right. Right.
then in this world map, there are the dungeons you spoke of. And that is where, so I would say the Metroid and the Celeste, well, Celeste is the built-in, the node traversal of refreshing your jump
Yeah. We'll talk about
resources.
that in a second.
Yeah, that's later. But the Metroidvania is the world. The dungeons and characters are very Zelda. And then in the dungeons, there are these things called circuits, and that's where the Mega
Okay.
Man
Yeah.
X influence comes in. And that's where
Oh. Okay.
it becomes way more, you know, like linear-ish level and speeding from A to B and doing as fast as you can, or speed's not
They're
necessary.
also
But
way tougher though.
yes,
I saw this gameplay. I was like, this is tough. I'm
yeah,
okay. It's
I,
gonna take a
I'm
minute.
I learned. I think I might have learned just a little too late that I don't. I put those challenging parts in there as
hmm
like I was like, doesn't this look fun? And then some people are like, that looks scary. I'm like, it's not. It's not all scary. I just put it in here because it's fun. You're like, too scary. I'm like, all right, all right. So I have to like pull it back. I just put it in. It's not, the whole game's not going to be a relentless punch in the face.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I appreciate that, and one of the things that I like, and well, this will be a transition into Celeste, and I've been playing a lot of Celeste recently, just kind of to get a feel for it because I never
mhm,
played Celeste. But one of the things I love about Celeste is that the optional areas are a lot more difficult, but this story, like to progress you forward into the
right.
story, there's no upgrade system in Celeste, but I imagine that your upgrade system in order to get to your main story beats aren't as difficult. Like you can have this crazy optional area in the game, but none of it hinders progress. So
Look at the big brain on
I know, and
chicken.
I'm sure as a designer, you're like, okay, I got to take this. It can't be crazy. Like, oh, if you don't get this, sucks to be you.
Yes,
But
100. You're
uh,
100% on the right track. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
main storyline. Obviously, there's the intended path, and
Right.
you can go in any direction. There's like so there's 5 lucid crystals. So
hmm
I mean, there's probably going to be 5 biomes with those in there. But so you can go in any one you want. But you know, similar to Dark Souls, like if you make the wrong turn, you're gonna, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get your butt handed to you. But
Yeah.
and so you're gonna like figure out like, oh, this is the easier way. You funnel that way, or you know, you're a masochist and you just say, I'm gonna do this till I get it. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Um,
And as we've talked about earlier, some of these are ability gated. And so
mhm,
once you get set abilities and you upgrade them, you're gonna be basically a god
a
in
hundred
in set
percent.
areas. So
Yes. So
yeah.
yeah, it's the Celeste, like you said, the main quest is not going is going to have a nice I mean the intended path will have a curve of difficulty, a nice smooth curve that like won't just be punches to the places you don't want to get punched, and but the optional offshoots, there are those, and you're rewarded with rare materials, a lot of money,
Hmm.
side quests, this, that, the other thing, and all of it just new
These are your
talismans.
strawberries.
Yeah, these are the straw. You're rewarded with. They're not just little badges. Like they
Yeah.
alter gameplay, and they will enhance your abilities. They will alter. Maybe you get three dashes instead of two now.
Right.
Classic Metroidvania, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
That is kind of one knock I'll put against Celeste, where it even tells you in the game like the strawberries are just to show off, so
Yeah,
they don't do anything for you. Which I get it; it's more story based platformer. That's the aesthetic that it's going for. But I'm like, man, I wish this did more for me.
yeah. I mean, I totally I feel you, and that I also feel like the game that they were making just didn't call for upgrades. But
Yeah, I get it. And as I've gone more, and I don't know how far I am in the game, but I don't know.
yeah.
I think I'm kind of far. I don't know, but I
Okay.
just I just rescued Theo from the crystal. So
Oh, okay.
I was using him, I was tossing him and trying to escape all those, I don't know what you call them,
Yes.
like mutant fish or whatever.
Yes. Was this? Did you reach the hotel?
Oh yeah, I got
With
past the hotel.
this was past the hotel.
That's past the hotel.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that was
played it like a
nuts
year
too.
ago again. Yeah, that game is so much fun. It's
It is, man. I die so many times, and the death counter is funny, but
yes.
something that is encouraging is that death teaches you something, and I think
Yep.
I've learned over my gaming time because I've played all three Dark Souls. I didn't play
Hmm.
all the other. I didn't play Elden Ring at all,
Hmm.
but death does teach you something, and as you continue to die more, you learn more, and then you just get better. Like you
Yeah, hundred
actually get
percent.
good. So you're like the game stays the same, but you just get better.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's what I love about games like these, where the game is going to stay the same the whole time. You're just going to learn something. You're going to get better at this
Yes,
to
yes.
where you become a speed running god, which I can't wait to see when the full release
Oh,
drops, all the speed runs. Are you going to
you're
put
gonna
in a
be
speed run counter?
well. Wait for the. Ooh, the Kickstarter will be a fun time.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's move on. Man, there's so much. There's so much. The music is going to be fantastic from this game. Like you've alluded to, you've had a lot of cool tracks come out. You've been releasing them. What what is? I guess you said a mix of old and new. So, as a musically minded person, what would you describe the music of Lucid? Is it kind of retro futuristic punk?
Oh,
I don't know. Or
oh,
like
how could
EDM?
I
I don't.
describe it?
Yeah.
Uh, term to describe the world, I've been calling it like a crystal punk world.
Crystal punk.
Um,
That's dope. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah, as like a play on the whole steampunk and stuff,
Yeah.
or cyberpunk. But
Yeah.
so I've been describing. So when I talk to my musicians and ask them like, um, give them a little direction, they barely need me half the time, but I give them the little nudge to here. I give them the phrase. Always try to keep thinking of optimistic melancholy, and
Okay.
it's the games I point to are tracks like Aquatic Ambience from Donkey Kong Country,
Okay.
a lot of like the vibe of Majora's Mask.
Gotcha.
A lot of '90s anime has this like it's just kind of this down and this kind of mellow, like there's this sadness, but everyone's still like just pushing through, and it permeates it permeates the story, it permeates
Hmm.
characters, and the music itself will also reflect that. There's kind of this darkness, but there's always this kind of little up. There's like the silver lining around each note, it feels like. But
Yeah.
I it bounces. Uh, to get a little more exact to your question, it's a big question. Um,
Yeah, it is.
uh, the there's kind of there's actually three brains. So I had this thought, where a track, every biome will have a track. Let's say
Okay.
there's the overworld track is a
Right.
side one, and then there's a B side, the dungeon track, where it's a little more fast paced,
Oh,
and the
another B side.
yep.
Celeste. There you
And
go.
then there's a C side where the boss
Oh.
fight is that track, but then like kind of Doom 2016ified, kind of like heavy intensity.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you take the same track with the same, you know, you then remix it in two other ways, so it makes this holistic. Like this is the track, but the type of genre it
Hmm.
is dependent on where you are in that biome. So it
Great.
goes super atmospheric and chill vibes, like what's it called, chill and very lo-fi
Like lo-fi.
metal.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
So that's overworld, very kind of atmospheric, and
Yeah.
that's where my boy Andrew Black is shining. If you guys have heard any of his tracks, it's hauntingly beautiful. And then
Yeah. I think I listened to the one that you put out just recently.
yes, I just
Yeah. That
released
was a
one
good one.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Andy. And
Nice.
then my missus, she is taking care of a lot of the more dungeon, a little more. She comes from, we used to DJ together, but she's way
Oh,
more,
nice.
yeah, like way more hip hop and like just intense, like fat beat and like kicks and all that fun stuff. So that's
Great.
pulse pounding, flow state inducing kind of tracks.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's her. And then TBD. I mean, if he's listening, I don't want to spoil nothing. There's nothing set in stone, but he's been my guy for the longest time. He's a good friend, and I said
Okay.
when I have the funds and everything's, when I can confidently say yes, I have a metal dude who's gonna hopefully do some boss tracks for me.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Yes.
Love it. That's great. That's what I love the music too, as well as the story. That's one of the things that really draws me to Hades, which is one of my favorite games
Yes.
because the music in it is so. I hate using this word all the time, but iconic.
Hmm. Sometimes that's the only way to
And
describe it.
sometimes there's no way to use it, but I feel like the word gets used way too many times. Like this is iconic.
This
Like
is literally iconic.
that's that. You know what? That's why, because my wife watches the Kardashians, and I'm like, why do they say this all the time? Not everything's iconic, Chloe. Gosh. So you have a Kickstarter coming up, and no one knows when the date is. But as we've talked about before we started, that you were going to reveal the actual date. So this is an exclusive for everyone who's
Exclusive
watching
drop.
this video. Exclusive
Mm.
drop.
Mhm. You're gonna know something before a lot of other people.
Yes.
Yes, the Lucid Kickstarter is happening on my birthday, which is September 18th.
Let's go. Sweet.
Yep,
Love it. I love
that's
it.
it.
Man,
Cool.
I'm so
Mic
pumped.
drop.
Mic drop. Mic drop September 18th. And that's I mean, that's pretty
I'm.
in the middle of that month. So, cuz I've heard you say mid-September. So,
Mhm.
it's like what does that mean? What does mid mean in a month anyway?
What is mid-September? This is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's let's see, it's like 1, 2, yeah, it's like 2.5 weeks in.
Yeah, it's the
That's
third Monday in September. I'm looking at a calendar right now.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, that's hopefully I can coerce people into following and backing and also be like for my birthday.
yeah, and I think you're probably getting close to about 1,000 followers on Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, we're getting there. I'm trying my darndest to pump them numbers up.
You're doing great, and I know as a solo dev, it's just tough to just work on the game in and of itself, but you have to also do all of the marketing and the promotion and just making sure
Sure
people
do.
like. I mean, I'm sure probably half your day is marketing and promotion.
Honestly, in the recent past, it feels like I've just been building the Kickstarter page and marketing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
no, but it,
think
yeah,
having it's been a doozy, man. I'm very
okay.
excited for it though.
Yeah,
Very
man, I'm
very
pumped.
excited.
I'm pumped. Can't wait to see it. All of it. Are you able to reveal some stretch goals for us without getting into like specifics? I mean, specific like dollar amounts, but
Stretch
do you have stretch
goals.
goals that you can kind of talk about?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I
If not, it's
can.
fine. But if you were able
Uh,
to,
I'm trying to remember what the stretch goals were because we there were so many and we were like I whittled them down with my buddy. I'm trying to remember which ones we landed on.
Yeah.
So I do know. Okay, so we touched on it very, very lightly, but
Hmm.
I did build speedrun. I fell in love with I don't are you familiar with games done quick?
Yeah. Also,
Uh
yeah, awesome games done quick or games
yeah,
done quick.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
the charity streams where they like
yeah.
it's speedrunners and
Yeah,
like
the
I fell in love
AGDQ.
with those
Yes.
videos.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. So I've been developing with it. Lucid is not a speed. It's like you do not have to speed run to play Lucid. It is something though that is there, and you are
Right.
incentivized and rewarded for doing very specific parts of the game. They're called circuits and dungeons. If you do those quickly, you're rewarded with a buff at the fight. So
Okay.
the basically you have this meter and it goes down when you're in these circuits. And so
Hmm.
the quicker you complete the circuits, the more meter you have at the end, and
Yeah.
become buffs in the boss fight.
Love it. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. I can't. I mean, with any
Uh,
game, I mean, people are
and
gonna
that's where
try
the
to.
speed running comes in.
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's so good. I can't.
Yes, yes, they're gonna try to optimize. But to answer your question, a stretch goal is like a built-in mode or option to turn on like speed running, like HUD or like classic like checkpoints and markers and times and like a speed running aspect mode of the
Okay.
game.
Great. Anything else? I didn't-
Oh yeah, there is one more. I can think of one more.
Okay.
Oh wait, am I? Yeah, they're just. I can neither confirm nor deny. There may just be some sort of Colosseum-esque thing. That,
Oh, okay.
hmm uh,
Nice.
very. I'm sure there's other games in recent memory that people can point to that had a certain Colosseum and a certain side
Okay.
quest, but nope, nope,
Okay.
nope.
Well, great. Um, so obviously with any Kickstarter, you'll have your certain tiers. Um, one of the things I was thinking about was like, man, I would love to have the full OST. Is that a backer reward?
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's absolutely yeah. There's if
Yeah.
I can for sure tell you what the backer rewards are.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Digital rewards. Every backer except for one tier, but all tiers get these five things. So there's the art book, the Lucid art book. So you
Okay.
to have all my sketches and all the promo art, character
Nice.
art. You get wallpapers, HD wallpapers for your phone and desktop. A Lucid album, which is a collection of some of my favorites tracks from the game, a digital map of the land of Aiden. So like old school, we are talking manuals before. This is a harkening back to like when you get maps to look at. So we get a digital
Yeah.
map of the world.
Yeah. Love that.
And then lastly, one of it may be what I'm most excited about. Sorry, everybody who else is working on other things, but I'm very excited about this. A prequel comic.
Oh,
A
I
good friend of
heard.
mine is working on it.
Yeah, a prequel comic. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did hear about that.
yeah, I'm very stoked. Yeah, it's one of those things where I say I'm very excited because I'm so all these other things I'm very like this is stuff I've made. I'm very hands-on with all these other things.
Hmm.
But for this comic, it was very much like my buddy kind of go with it, where like I gave him the outline, I gave him the story, and here's what the characters look like. But then he just took it in his style, and like every time he shows me a page, I don't really know what's coming, so it's a surprise. So,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
yeah. So I mean, I've seen a lot of it. I've seen like 75% of it, and it's looking awesome.
That's great. Man, a prequel comic. Can't wait to
Yes.
check that out. Cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, man, that's great. And so this is also going to come out on every platform from what I saw in the trailer,
Yes, the plan
right?
is to eventually release to platforms. I don't have specifics on like timing, which platform comes when. I don't
Okay.
have that yet, but I do know that we will be porting to all of them. I can definitely PC first. I would love to get onto the Switch as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Um,
it's to be a great game for the Switch.
yeah, I just haven't solidified dates and all the semantics of all that stuff, but they
Sure.
are. The more successful the Kickstarter is, the easier that conversation and stuff will be, and the quicker it'll come. So
You hear
I
that,
can't.
everybody? Get this man to past 100% on Kickstarter. We're talking 1,000,000,000%. That's not a number, but we can do that. We can do it. We can support this man. Support your indie
Yes.
devs. Support all these indie games. Like,
Oh,
get
yes.
this. Do all the support. Shut up and
Yes,
take
you're
my
not just
money, says Fry.
supporting. Yeah, man, you're not just supporting me and my indie game passion project that poured my heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears into, but you're also supporting a plethora of artists who've accompanied me on the way. And ideally, again, if we're successful enough, I can have more of a full-time kind of team. I've been outing myself as a solo game dev with a lot of outside, like almost like the Gorillas, the band. But the more
Nice.
successful this
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
the more fight I can get these guys on onto the project. So yeah,
You know what? Now the art kind of, at least I think I remember seeing it. I was like, that kind of looks gorilla esque. Almost. I don't know.
the Gorillas, I was huge. I guess is I love the Gorillas. I love the
Yeah.
lore. I love the project, like the everything. It's such an amazing piece of art and
Yeah. It's a really
entertainment. But
interesting
yeah,
idea. Yeah. I
they're
wasn't,
they're an
I did,
influence to me.
yeah, I wasn't super into the gorillas, but I appreciate the idea of what they're going for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something I meant to ask you in the gameplay section is there, like some Metroidvanias, there's always an opportunity to basically sequence break things. Do you
Yes.
do you expect people to sequence break your game?
I not only do I expect it, but I hope for it. I encourage
Okay,
it.
all right, sweet. Encourage sequence breaks. There we go.
Yes, I've left in there have been moments where well, I know there's some tech in there that can get you to places a bit sooner. And I've also left in mm, features, not bugs, features that I was like, huh, that's not really supposed to act that way, but it's
Okay.
fun. All
Yeah.
right, it's staying.
Sweet.
So I'm excited, very
Yeah,
excited.
man. Yeah. A couple more questions before
Oh,
we wrap
sure.
it up here. So let's talk future. So game has been fully funded. It will be fully funded, and it comes out on this shuddering. I know. There's a level of nervousness of that, but I personally think that this will get fully funded, overfunded,
Hope
because
so.
I think you have a great product on your hands, and you've been marketing the crap out of it. So I
Hmm.
think you've had enough eyes on it from people like Gerard the completionist. So you have that, and other people that I've seen on Twitter that have retweeted or done any
Very
type of
thankful.
promotion on this skin, that I
Yeah.
think you will have the backing that you need. I have full faith in you. So yeah, I think you'll get there. So once that happens, game's out on every platform.
Hope so.
What kind of
Oh, thanks, man. Hmm.
yeah, man, what kind
Uh-huh.
of updates would we have in the future? Do you have plans for content updates, DLC, anything like that? I know we talked about a Silk Song style game, but that's
Yes.
farther down the line. But just in the it for the immediate future, immediate being like post launch of the game, what kind of things do you have planned? I know that's probably hard to think about maybe right now. I don't know,
I
but
definitely have I definitely have plans.
okay,
I have more story to tell. I know that Lucid will ship is a complete experience. I
great.
really don't like games that don't do that. I think it's BS malarkey
Yep, yep.
when
You don't
that
subscribe
happens.
to the modern gaming theology.
I, th- I my mouth tastes a little bit like throw up. Yes, that's gross too.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
So Lucid for 100% will be a full experience, no DLC required. That said, I do have kind of like epilogue. I have ideas to extend what's it called? I'm sure more accessibility options and things like that will be
Yeah.
able to be taken on with, again, it's like it stinks that like I can't do, I'm only so big, so I can't do everything in the world, but with
Right.
more time and funding, I'll be able to tackle more of that stuff, which will be really, really nice, and something I look forward to. Um, so yeah, I
Yeah, man.
guess those are the big ones.
Yeah,
And then of
excited.
course the Silk song. That's I mean, that might even just be Lucid too.
It might be,
But
yeah,
who
I guess
knows?
that would be Lucid too. Yeah. But yeah, well, let's focus on Lucid 1. Let's get Lucid 1 out.
Yeah, Lucid.
Sweet.
Great.
Last question, or last, yeah. In your spare time, what these are just more fun questions. Are you playing anything besides your own game right now? When you take breaks, what are you doing? What are you playing? What are you watching?
Oh man,
What do you do to step away from your work?
I legit wish I had a better answer. I live and breathe Lucid, but I do when I what's the last game I played? I played Dredge with a buddy, that boat
Yeah,
game.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
And then I actually was starting to play. I played a few rounds of that 30XX by a friend of mine, Chris.
Oh, yeah, that's coming out
Yeah, I think
this week.
yeah, there's a countdown going on. I don't
Yeah,
know what
I
day
follow
we're
that
at.
account, and I think he has like 6 or 7 days or something like
Yeah,
that. I don't know.
yeah, 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there. But
Yeah.
Chris, I met him at a PAX, and he's super awesome. The game's awesome, and it's easy to sink an hour at night before bed to just do a run. And I
Yeah.
mean, in my head, I look at it as like the only way I can play a game is if I justify it as research, and it being a Mega Man X like, I can easily like uh, be inspired by some of his ideas. So
Right, right.
it's always fun. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm playing. As for watching, I just watched The Matrix again. I just
Oh,
watched
okay.
a super cut of the prequels, and it was like they condensed all the prequels into one movie, and
Why would you do that?
it's still not a great, it's still not a great
Why
movie.
would you do it though?
I couldn't believe it. I
You
share a
took
server with a
time out
buddy
of
of
your
mine, like
day.
every now and then. Sir, I didn't say I was proud of it, but at the end
All
of it, I
right.
was like, huh, that's still not great.
Still sucks.
Still bad.
Yeah.
Holy crap. But yep. I can't think of. I just watched. I finished. Oh, that the Righteous Gemstones. I was watching that on HBO. That was
I
really
don't know what
funny.
that is.
But
Okay.
oh yes, it's funny.
Sweet.
But yeah, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
and
oh.
one unicorn masters of something. I don't know. I don't know, man. I just throw on something to work to, and if it has subtitles,
Okay.
I can't watch it. So it's
Oh yeah,
unfortunate.
that's tough.
I don't get to watch any more anime because I can't listen to it.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah,
You
that's
can
me.
only watch the clips. You can only watch the Gear 5 Looney Tunes bits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well,
100%.
Eric, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. Lot of good times. I appreciate you taking time to taking your break out from Lucid, or
Likewise.
maybe you were working on Lucid in the background as we were talking, which that takes a lot of skill. But yeah, I definitely wanna have you back at some point, kind of the post launch Kickstarter, just to see how everything's going, and where you're at and how you're feeling, and hopefully
Oh yeah.
your head's above water, because I know you're probably sweating a little bit
Yeah.
right now.
Very
But man,
much.
but
Very
definitely
much.
want to do this again. This has been a lot of fun. Just for if anybody's watching and you see a couple of cuts, because I have some technical issues, just gonna put that out there. But we'll do it better next time.
We got this.
We got this. This is you learn as you go. That's what it is.
Yeah, man.
Just like anything, you learn
Yeah,
as you go.
yeah, we get good.
Yeah, we get good. We get good. But I will definitely, I'm going to put all of the relevant links in the description of this video so people can support you and give
Awesome.
give you all of their paychecks. It's like,
Yes, please.
I'm gonna tell my
hungry.
wife, babe, I can't pay our mortgage. I gotta Lucid's the thing. I gotta pay for that. I can't do it. We just may have a house today.
I sincerely appreciate everyone's support. I jokingly put up pictures of my puppy of being like, potatoes gotta eat, Zoe's hungry. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, it's your support is incredibly appreciated.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate you. And thank y'all so much for watching this video. There'll be more like this in the future because this is a lot of fun. Hopefully, if you're a game dev listening to this, listening and watching this video, let me know. I would love to talk to you. I would love to continue to support indie games in any way, shape, or form by doing stuff like this. But
Hell yeah.
until then, maybe yeah, I guess we'll have some background stuff. I was gonna do a thumbnail, or maybe I'll put the trailer at the end of this video. But in any case, thank you so much for watching again. My name is Cheat K.
I'll give you tons of footage.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. My name is Cheat K. I will see you on the next one. Peace.